There we go.
Isn't that amazing? It says we've been live for 16 seconds already.
I know.
I don't even know how that works. But hey, welcome. It's Thursday night. It's 9 p.m. on the East Coast. That means it's time for this week of Gear Report, where we talk about everything that's been reviewed since the last week, things that are in the review queue upcoming, and then the most famous, anticipated portion of the show, which of course is TJ's happy hour. That's what happens later. But I'll tell you what, we're going to toss that all out the window again because we have a guest. So first over here, we have, you're just TJ. You're not LTJ this time.
Hi, I'm not LTJ. No, because you're the El Jefe. I can't.
Right.
I don't know what else L would follow, but
yeah,
Director of Snacks and Beverages, as it says on the screen.
It does, yes.
I
need to put my title on there. So anyhow, we've got us here, and then we got the guys from AMTAC Suppressors down below. So Brian and Zachary, I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves, and then we can dive in and start talking about the brand and where the companies come from, where it's going, scope of your products. There's so many new and exciting things to talk about. I'm going to let you guys start out with some introductions. So.
Yeah, appreciate it. So my name is Brian Siegel. I'm with AMTAC Suppressors, now kind of owned and operated by U.S. Defense Group, USDGI. My background is I come from a law enforcement background, so I worked with LAPD for approximately 10 years and had a lot of fun doing all that, jumped into the entrepreneur world a little bit afterwards. And U.S. Defense Group called me up and asked me to come on over and help them out here with AMTAC. AMTAC's been around for like 35 years. It's been a fun little ride, and we got some rebranding. But the team that we have now, I've got Zach over here right next to me that I'll let him do his introduction and his little bit of background. It's a pretty exciting one from where he comes from and what he's been doing.
Hey, yeah, my name's Zach. I'm as Brian mentioned, I'm on the AMTAC team. So my role here, I'm director of partner relations. I mainly deal with dealer relationships and reaching out, getting our product into the stores. A little background on me. So I was infantry in the Army. So I did about a little 4-year stint there. So naturally I have an affinity for firearms, weapons, the industry. So I got brought on to the AMTAC team back in, I think it was late or early fall, back in September. And it's just been a wild ride. It's been great to see sort of the things that we're doing, we're rebranding, and these new exciting products we're bringing. So,
well, I'm excited to hear about them. It's been several years since we worked together, and I noticed I found the box to the AMTAC suppressor that I have, and it is serial number 80. If that tells you how long ago it was that we got the absolutely, yeah, and it had a neat little cylindrical, different sized baffle stack in it. It actually worked pretty well. So it was a nice can, and we reviewed that. I want to say it was 2017 or 2018. But that one was a nightmare story. That was my first interaction with the ATF, and I was unaware of the level of incompetence that exists. And I'm not going to put you guys on the spot to confirm or deny that, because you have to work with them in a way that I don't.
They're fantastic.
But I'll tell you, from my perspective, they lost the form 3. They lost the form 3 to begin with. And then when we finally got that sorted out, then they lost the form 4. So both of them had to be submitted twice. Both times we have proof they've been submitted and accepted. Both times they said, yeah, too bad, we don't have it, so submit it again. 18 months. And Adam is who I was working with at AMTAC at the time, and he kept sending me notes. Hey, man, when do you get this review done? Like, I can't even put my hands on it yet. So, yeah, that was a nightmare.
It's a tough one. The new e-forms have made things a little bit easier. We sometimes feel like some of the delays are intentional, but
I think so.
The way it's the ATF, man, and we got to do what they say, and we respect the law. So yeah, it can be tricky sometimes.
That was well said. You're much more diplomatic than I am.
Yeah, I was like,
that's why he's doing most of the talking here.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to interpret for Ryan Todd here. EUC's end use certificate He's one of the guys. One of the things we cover at Gear Report is former military vehicles, Humvees. And Ryan has got a Humvee. EUC is the paperwork you have to fill out to get that. To buy an old truck, they've taken all the fun parts off. It's just a truck at that point. They still make you go through multiple background checks to get it. That's the EUC process. And it takes as long as the ATF process, it seems. Oh, come on, snob, giving me a hard time. Yeah, so in case anyone noticed, I'm not in the studio with the lighting and my bougie microphone. I am in a hotel while my youngest is at a swim meet for the next 3 days. So we're going to make the most of that. And if the internet messes up on me, I mean, let's be honest, the internet's probably going to be better here than it is at my house.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably
But
better
TJ,
there than at your house, though.
TJ is primed and ready to take over, even if I don't have internet issues, right? But especially if I have internet issues. So I apologize for the grainy picture and weird background, but you know, this is what a 5-star hotel looks like in Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah.
Is that a 5-star?
As far as you know.
Okay.
We're going to say yes.
Yeah. We're just going to roll with
We're
that.
at the A-Loft in Charlotte.
Yeah. I'd tell you what the hotel is, but honestly, how we found it is we got off the interstate and I was like, oh, look at that. That's very festive over there. There was a whole group of vehicles with lights on just going all over the place. Like, oh, yeah, that must be our hotel. And we were the next one down.
These are usually the most affordable with the most open rooms, I hear.
Oh, yeah. And to park at the front door. Yeah. Well, definitely something like that. Okay, so let me start with the obvious question. AMTAC, what does that mean?
Yeah, so AMTAC or AMTAC, it really comes from Advanced Manufacturing Technologies. And, AMTAC has been around for a long time with advanced manufacturing. The technologies that they've had, so they've been around about 35 years. They actually worked with Department of Defense, Bell, Hiller, SpaceX, and the original founder in 2009, Anthony Barney, he purchased his first personal suppressor and was a little on the disappointed side. So just like any other company that's ever been started, almost, it seems like you get a product, you don't like it, whether it's the service, the product itself, and you figure, you know what, I can probably make something better. So that's where the Advanced Manufacturer Tactical, AMTAC, was then born, was from that. So AMTAC is the Advanced Manufacturer Tactical. That's what that stands for. And it came from the whole conception of, I think we can make a better product.
All right. So my understanding is pretty much everything has changed since I last worked with you guys. So do you want to walk through, I know you had a big rebranding with some really neat kind of symbolism in it, as well as a completely new baffle stack. So which one of those you want to jump on first?
Yeah, so let me talk a little bit about the rebranding. I'm going to let Zach talk a little bit about the baffle structure and stuff and kind of what we have going on. But the rebranding was really, really exciting. The CEO, the now new CEO, Chet and Brady, they served a lot of time in other countries and stuff like that. And one of them was New Zealand and in the Hawaii states. And so the Polynesian kind of culture and the Maori warrior fighter was a really big thing to the owners of the company. The mere fact that the Maori fighter was one of the most feared fighters in the world, that right up against the Vikings, was one reason why he brought that culture in, plus the fact that they were so close. So there's a word in the Hawaiian culture and the Polynesian culture called kuleana or kuleani. And what that means is that the respect that that culture had to the land and how they treated the land and how they treated each other, everybody had a responsibility to tender kind of the land that they lived on, and in return the land would respect and tender to them. And so we brought that into the culture of the company in the sense of not just the land, but our clients, our customers, our dealers, and the fact that we would treat them with integrity and respect, and in due kind they would feel that and feel the same respect back towards us. So the morals and the ethics and the integrity that we have in the company kind of goes along with the branding of that Polynesian culture. And a lot of the guys that are in our company, one guy that couldn't make it tonight, his name's Kyle Kalama. I've got a video that's going to drop tonight about him, former Marine as well, did a lot of did a few different tours, and did some contracting and everything. He's part of our company. He's part of our team. He talks about the culture a lot as well. And so we've got that kind of embedded, and the rebranding aspect comes from that. And also with the Maori fighter and the warrior, what we looked at was you've got the tactical side of the suppressor for command control and PPE. And then you also have the hunting aspect, which really is the PPE side when it comes to hearing protection, TBI, traumatic brain injury from the percussion of a big rifle, PTSD, stuff like that, losing your hearing, tinnitus. And so we look at the warrior side on both the hunting aspect and the tactical warrior, which was up close, like the CQB stuff. So I don't know if you know this, but like back in the day, the Maori warriors used the club, this big club, and they would get up close and personal to the people they were battling, and they'd get them. And so with the military and law enforcement, when we're doing, close quarter combat, or we're having to search a room, do search warrants, things like that, that's kind of that Maori fighter. That's what we look at as that warrior being in close quarters. And then on the hunting aspect, the same thing with the big coups and like the spears and the bow and arrows and stuff when you're hunting. So both the hunting and the warrior side come into that branding of our new AMTAC rebrand. Kind of a lot there. I hope you're all tracking on that, but that's kind of the sense behind it is, and we're just really excited about it too, because we do love the culture. We love the fact that it's very family aspect and the responsibilities that we have with integrity and morals and stuff. So we're really, really excited. So what you're seeing there, that's kind of the old baffle system.
Right.
We call it the washer system. I'm going to let Zach jump in on this one because he's got a lot of details that comes to this, and he really does have a good understanding of it and speaking to it. So I'll let Zach kind of take over from there.
Yeah, well, Brian sure gave me quite a shoe to fill there as far as
he's a subject matter expert on this stuff.
Yeah, so that's what we'll go with. That's what we'll go with. So one of the things we did at SHOT Show was to show sort of the evolution that we have going on here. And you can see here, so that's our old, like Brian was saying, that's our washer style system. Obviously it looks like a bunch of washers. With the redesign, we went with more of a, I guess you could call it, I don't know a good way to put it. It features a lot more of a traditional baffle in the sense of you have these different chambers, and within those chambers you have these concaved teeth, right, that help actually redirect those gases. And one of the biggest thing is with our overbarrel design, right, we want to, there you go, that's a perfect picture of it. So you can see we have those clear-cut different chambers, and within those chambers you have those teeth, right? That's what I like to call them. And one of the big reasons behind that is we want to make the most use out of that overbarrel portion, right? We want to redirect those gases backward to give them a place to expand and cool down before exiting through that baffle system. So that just lends itself to, the design aspect of directing those gases where we want to go. And we found huge success in just the progression of how we want that sound control and the suppression control to be with ours versus how it was originally.
One thing that we did notice, so we have a guy he's a big time hunter. His name's Garrett Johnson. He's a back-to-back world champion predator hunter, apex predator hunter, and one's a huge national champion. So he used to shoot with some of our old baffle structures. And then we've recently got him out some of the newer style with this new rebrand and the different manufacturing aspects of this baffle. We went out and we did a bunch of test shooting with them. And one thing that we noticed was the tonality of the round coming out of that baffle. And with what we would call like the washer style baffle, there's kind of a high pitch zing and a little ping coming out of that round. Whereas with this baffle, the tonality is a little bit lower and it sounds more like forced air coming out. And so having that tonality be a little bit lower, we actually had one of our clients go out on a hunt recently with his son. It was about 7 o'clock in the morning. He said it was around -3 outside. It was super cold. They came up to like this huge pack of elk, and his son on an AR-10 with I think it was an AR-10 with our suppressor on it, took the shot from about 75 yards, completely put out this elk, and the rest of the pack didn't even move. And he said he really
if I remember correctly, I think he might have even just missed just over the shoulder, and then he was able to take a second shot, and they still had not even moved from their bed down position.
That's correct. Yeah. So he did miss that
Wow.
first shot, had to realign. So he was wishing he had a camera to show this. I believe he was using our Rongo on that
Mhm.
rifle. He missed that first shot right over the shoulder, took the second one. Elk goes down quietly, and he said the entire pack did not move, and it was the most phenomenal thing he saw. That was a picture. So if you go on our Instagram, you can see that picture. It's a father-son, and they're sitting right next to the elk. He was on that shot.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you touched on something else that I think is important to talk about as a brand. I know you're known for suppressors, but I think more specifically, probably more well known for the over-the-barrel suppressors. So do you want to talk about the difference between the standard type and then the over-the-barrel, and how your product catalog has kind of evolved to include both options?
Yeah, of course. So we obviously, our bread and butter and where we found initial success in pioneering was in that over barrel design. And with your traditional suppressors, right, the way I look at it is, coming from a military background, everything does really come down to sort of a shooter's preference, right? And in the market, we don't see a lot of over barrel designs. And what we wanted to do ultimately is be able to give our clients the most amount of suppression, whether that's your sound suppression, your flash suppression, without adding a ton of length. We all know we already have to fight the ATF on barrel length restrictions, right? And the idea is that, okay, well, we can make a short suppressor, but are we going to get the full potential out of that suppressor? Because if we have all this real estate behind the threads, why don't we capitalize on that, right? Let's use that. Let's cut down on the overall length while, giving our customers a perceivably shorter package. With our 5.56, for example, you can throw on one of our 5.56 cans, our Koa, to your 16-inch barrel, and your overall length comes out to a traditional, let's say, if you wanted to run an SBR like a 12.5 with a traditional end mount suppressor. And we do have end mount suppressors as well, but where we find the success is in our over barrel design has just been nailed down, especially over the time that we've spent, just the length of the company itself to really hone in and make better use of that. So as far as where, over barrel versus the traditional end mounts, yes, you have pros and cons on both sides. And we find that, at least in our demographic, the pros outweigh the cons. We are direct thread to your barrel. So some might say that's more of a dedicated suppressor. But with our thread adapters, we by allowing to have thread adapters, then you can run that 30 cal on your hunting platform, and then you can get an affordable thread adapter and throw it on your 223, and you're still going to get the performance. So that's really where we're trying to kind of bring awareness to on our over barrel design.
The other thing too, as far like from the law enforcement standpoint, just from my aspect, I've never been a big hunter of animals, but definitely a hunter of gangsters. And one thing that like I really love about the over the barrel is on a 12.5, SBR. If I get that over the barrel on there, I'm only adding 7 inches, Zach? 3.7 inches.
3.7 inches, yeah.
So I'm only adding, because it goes for the reflex chamber is going to come 4 inches over that barrel and give me 3.7 inches at the end of it. So I'm running like a full 16-inch regular 5.56 with keeping the full ballistic advantage that I would need on that over the barrel. And as a law enforcement officer, I want a dedicated suppressor on that rifle, because the last thing I want to do is show up and do a quick attach. Now I know there's people that train for that, and so to each their own, 100%, whatever you feel comfortable with. But one thing that I really like is I've seen our suppressors now direct thread onto rifles that fit into a cruiser, where they would normally have to, it'd be too long basically, and they'd have to put that rifle in the trunk. But now that it's right next to them and they got to deploy and do a rapid deployment on, something that's active, they can do that because it's a direct thread and it's kind of that dedicated suppressor. And I've talked to a couple hunters as well, and they love the fact that that does come over the barrel. The ones that I've talked to, the pros and cons on it, they say, I got to lug this huge barrel, and then the end mount's another, 4 inches on the end mount, and I've got like essentially a Barrett 50 cal, but only shooting a 223, and the weight and everything, lugging that thing around. So, there's all these pros and cons, and I love sticking to the positives, obviously, right? And I'm romanticizing about my product because I love it so much. But, for the law enforcement aspect, I absolutely love it. On the hunting aspect, I've heard some pretty good things about it.
So I'm going to bring up a blast from the past here. This
Whoa,
is
look at that logo.
years ago. This is the ancient Gear Report logo. This is a couple versions ago, and you see one of the clear cover demo cans that I had. Actually, I still have it beside my personal AMTAC can. But what I wanted to show here all right, if I could get back to the correct screen. Here we go. I want to come down to, you can see how it mounts over the barrel there, but there it is. This was the little math problem that I did, and came up with the weight difference from moving the can back however many inches it was equated to the same weight as a quarter pounder with cheese. So that's how much weight, that's how much effective weight, when you do the calculations, the further you move weight away from where it's pivoting, which would be the stock where it touches the shoulder, the heavier it feels. So by moving that whole can back, 3.5 or 4 inches or however much it was, you reduce the perceived weight by that of 1 quarter pounder with cheese. So I thought that was
we're documenting that.
We're unique way. Yeah,
that's going to be official data right there that we're going to tell.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyhow, that but yeah, you can see the old baffle structure in here, and my first Humvee in the background too. So yeah, that was a fun review. We don't have to spend too much time on that.
Back in the day,
that is that's old news at this point.
Yeah, some of the things that we really, because I was seeing there how you were showing kind of the gases as well. With that reflex chamber, where we've been able to eliminate a lot of gas blowback. We've recently met with some people on the military side of things, and they're looking at different specs. And one thing they're really concerned about, and some of the aspects that different branches of the military brought up, are, suppressors for command and control, but also to decrease the amount of gas that's coming back at them, because over time, the carbon and all that stuff, that poison, and kind of getting lung disease and lung problems and things like that, plus eyesight issues as well. So with the over the barrel and that reflex chamber, you're able to decrease that gas blowback. And there's something that we're going to be doing here recently. It's going to probably be about a 5 or 6 series part on YouTube, where I'm going to be interviewing a bunch of doctors as it pertains to hearing, brain trauma, and all that other stuff, because there needs to be, and I know there has been, we're just going to go a little bit deeper dive on the aspect of the PPE side of the suppressors. So I can tell you personally from my own experience as an officer, and I know Zach, he's got a couple cool stories about getting blown up and stuff, and the things he's had to deal with and everything in the Army. But we get this PTSD from loud noises, TBI, traumatic brain injuries and stuff. The percussion alone, the one guy we were talking to that came over to the office, he said he remembers the actual gun and the day when he got tinnitus because of the percussion that came from that firearm. And so recently there was a shooting in South Pasadena, California, where the week prior they had just gotten the approval for suppressors, their patrol units. And obviously you got to qualify for the rifles and things like that. So they don't just hand these out to officers, but officers that go through qualification and stuff like that to carry them on patrol. And one of the reports that came out from that was they were so surprised and excited about the command and control that they had in that situation, because of how chaotic it is, and the guys shooting at them and them shooting back. And the suppressor allows that command and control. And then we go a little bit further just with the PPE aspect of the suppressors and how important it is.
Well, that has been, I would say in the last 5 years, I've heard more people talking about it in terms of hearing protection. I love how PPE became a household term during COVID. Maybe the only good thing that came out of COVID is that everyone knows what PPE is now. So it makes it a little easier to talk about a class of products that it's not it's not just the assassin's tool for the movies. It is also a bit of useful personal protective equipment.
Yeah. One thing we look at, I was just dealing with a sergeant in another police department out in Southern California, and he's in charge over school safety. And so we do see this, the news talks a lot about the, rifles and mass shootings and things like that. One thing he brought up was it's better for me to buy suppressors for my SROs, my school resource officers, than to have them go into a school to eliminate a threat and start blasting a 5.56 down the hallways where there would be absolute percussion and echo. And he says, and you want to talk about really generating and creating more chaos. It's like lighting, a big fireworks off into the school. And so having that suppressed, talking to this police department, he was just saying, like, one, it's going to save not only the officers' ears, but the kids that are running around, or if they're in a classroom or nearby or behind them and they got to take that shot, they don't want to blow out any other kids' ears while they're trying to protect them, and all of a sudden have all these lifelong issues, right? So yes, the PPE aspect for us is a big, big thing. And we're going to be taking, like I said, a deep dive on that to get a lot of that information out.
When you talk about command and control with your law enforcement background or Zach with a military background, but if you look at your common, you probably do have a fair percentage of customers that come from those two populations, but you want to get into that bigger pool of the non-military or LEO population who maybe, in case they have to defend themselves in their home, they want to be able to do that effectively. This can be huge for helping people. I mean, in my opinion, I've never been in that situation, but I can imagine in my house, if a firearm had to be employed inside the house, we got some people who are going to be absolutely freaking out. The louder it is, the worse it's going to be.
Yeah.
So having a can on to help sequester that a little bit, I think increases the odds that people are going to be able to keep their shit together and actually make logical choices, to help improve the situation instead of just freaking out and making things worse.
Still be able to hear commands or anything like that as well.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you just think about that situation, if you really chase that one down, right, the downfall of that, or the over spillage of that situation is not only do you have this loud firearm disrupting, if not traumatizing, your kids and your family, but then you've also got, now you have the neighbors are all awake. And then when the police arrive, now you just have so much chaos that doesn't need to be there. If we can provide a tool that keeps the hearing levels safe, and it can, like Brian's point, that's where command and control really comes into a scenario like that on a personal defense scenario. It's just keeping everything as minimal as possible as far as the chaos goes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
And obviously, there's all the training aspects that you want to have, right? We're 100% pro 2A, right? Second Amendment. We love our guns and everything. And we always recommend, and we even offer training through our, company, that we have a bunch of people that we collaborate with that do rifle training, pistol training, things like that. And I just recently saw an ad that came out that's like, hey, yeah, we have gun safes in our house, but really the more important thing is I've trained my kids on how to use these guns and how to understand the safety of it. So they walk through the safety. And I've done that with my kids. I've got my Glock in the house. I got a rifle in the house. I got a shotgun in the house. They know where they are. And my son and my daughter, who are the older ones, they know, all guns are always loaded. Never point the gun at anything you're not willing to shoot or kill. And they know not to touch certain things. My son's got a little 22. He's got a little 22 single action rifle that we go out and we shoot with and stuff. But having that education and having that training is absolutely important. We don't want everybody and anybody just running around and doing anything, because we've all seen those videos where people just shoot themselves in the foot, right? So we got to have that training, got to get that education.
Yeah, which reminds me, Is anyone else familiar with the old Tex Grebner video? I just effing shot myself.
Yeah,
That's one of the best videos on the internet if you haven't seen that before.
Yes.
that is a good one.
Yeah. And I hate to say that at his expense, but he did choose to publish it. So it's kind
That's
of
right.
Yeah. He
That's
put it out
right.
there.
All right. So I believe I shared the Instagram and the
Yep.
website URLs
Yep.
already. I'm going to grab the Facebook URL here, drop that in the comments as well.
There you go, Jeff.
So we have had
Drop
some
'em
active
all.
discussion out there, but everyone's just chatting amongst themselves. So if any of you guys out there who are watching have any questions, now's the time to leave them in the comments, get them in the queue so we can get those answered for you. Let's see. There was something on the Instagram page that you had mentioned. Which one was that? I wonder.
Oh, there's the hunt
Right.
one right there.
Right there.
Yep. So that's one where the father-son took that shot on that elk.
Oh wow. Yeah.
There you can see he's got our Rongo there on his rifle,
Yeah.
and you can kind of tell by their faces how cold it is.
Yeah.
Well, what about all the layers they're wearing? Clearly,
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah, so we have that one. There's a video that's going to drop later on tonight. So the video just above that, that's Kyle Kalama right there. He was shooting off his 5.56 that he's got, and
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
just sounds super good and quiet. That was on Veterans Day. He was out with a bunch of his old Marine buddies, and they're just hunting and having a good time. But his little rifle setup is real nice. He put a piston setup, a piston kit through that one, so you can even see the gas blowback on that one is pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
So that one's really good setup. But yeah, our Instagram page, we've done a little bit of a revamp. We've got a little bit of a revamp coming up with our YouTube as well. We're going to be doing some promotional stuff where if you send us in, so that the video or the picture that you see there with all the guns, that was one of our law enforcement officers who's got a nice little collection down south in Louisiana. He sent that over to us, and we're going to be doing little promotions where send us in your pictures or your setups with our suppressors, and we're going to send out some patches and T-shirts and things like that. We'll do some
Nice.
voting on
There
it
you go.
and do little competitions and everything. We do have a promotion coming up called "Show Us Your Cans," and whoever's got like the best video or the best picture with all the suppressors that they have.
Suppressors, my bad.
Yeah.
You're gonna get some pics, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know, right? We have a couple of them where it's like, show us your safes, show us your 223 setups, show us your cans, like all that stuff is what we're going to be doing. And then we'll have like little competitions, and we'll let the public vote, and whoever's got the best one, we'll be sending out we got a bunch of new patches, stickers, and T-shirts, and a bunch of merch, stuff like that we want to hand out to our clients. So
Very cool.
Yeah, definitely give us a like and a follow. We like to do the same as well, and we love to share the love. So social media is where it's at these days. Obviously, that's
There
the
we
new
go.
that's the new stuff. So that's what we're trying to put out and build that audience.
Excellent. All right. And we are out there. We've shared the links to all of those. Oh, TJ, this one's for you.
I know.
I guarantee you, Mystic Guns is here. The boo. Clearly, it couldn't be for me. Absolutely not for our guest, because that would
Love
be
you.
rude.
Love you.
And Crystal's here. I don't know if you guys noticed, we do have
She
a
doesn't love
pattern
me.
here. We have oh, I see. She was aiming that at Crystal. Okay. This is getting weird in the comments with the ladies going back and forth here. But you may have noticed early in the program, we had a bunch of different yos. So we do have some oddities with this program. One is the only acceptable greeting when you enter the chat is 3 yos. And unless
Yo.
unless you're Gary and you throw a off-disputed trademark in there,
We're gonna have to pay him. You know that.
No, we're not. I'm telling you. I don't think he has any legal grounds for that. But,
I don't know. It's Gary. He's got nothing else to do. He's probably like, watch this, trademarking it, baby.
Yeah, man. If he ever does that paperwork, we're in trouble.
I know.
All right. So across your product catalog, what are you the most excited about right now?
That's a good question, because we really do, as Brian was saying, like we really have people from sort of all walks, going after our stuff, whether that's your tactical guys that want that shortened 5.56. Me personally, because I really want to find the shortest, quietest packages I can, is the 9mm, the coup. That is one of my personal favorites. I take that thing out to the range whenever we can, because it's phenomenally quiet. So we have a build, a little AR9 platform back at the shop, and if they say, hey, we're doing a range day, I'm grabbing that thing first every single time, because it's just, it's as close as you're going to get to that movie silence, in my opinion. That Hollywood suppressor silence.
Sure.
Just a really an awesome suppressor there. It's one of my favorites. But on the flip side of that, the one that really impressed me the most, again, I am newer to the company, the one that really impressed me the most was the Rongo P. In our Rongos, just to break that down, we have our Rongo S, which is for a standard 3/4 inch barrel profile, and then the Rongo P is for your heavy barrels up to a 0.95 inch, which, we do have clients that'll run that heavy barrel suppressor, the bigger diameter on a standard profile. There's no issues there at all. But what excited me about that the most is that just how quiet it was. I mean, on our AR-10 platform with that thing, typically if we're going to do apples to apples, you're going to get, with a suppressed setup, you're going to be quieter on a bolt gun typically than versus, say an AR platform. And even then, it was just quiet. It was hearing safe. It is still a 308, but we have those rated up to, I'm going to forget all of them off the top of my head, a 300 Win Mag, H&H Mag, 300 Weatherby, and I'm probably forgetting another one. But if someone does have questions, you can always reach out and I get you a better answer. But
sure,
that's my personal take. Obviously, the 5.56 is always the go-to, but I tend to like those more on the fringe side of things, and the 9mm is really something special.
For the Rongo series, just before you jump into that, I find it interesting that in the specs, the S is showing a 28 dB reduction, and the P, which presumably is going to have a fairly significant reduction in that expansion chamber volume, is still at 26. That's a pretty small difference for what I would assume would functionally be a pretty big volume change in that over the barrel section.
Mm-hmm. The biggest difference there, the biggest difference with that is just that with the Rongo P, a heavy barrel, you're going to be running hotter loads. And that's really what it comes down to. As far as the actual baffle structure, the baffle length, and your reflex length, they are similar. They're identical, right? The only difference there is just that wider port to allow for a bigger barrel. And it's really just comes down to the types of loads you're going to be running, your Magnum calibers through the Rongo P.
All right. People being nice out there in the comments.
Well, they were nice.
Yeah.
Future ex-husband.
Yeah.
Yep. It turned south quick out there.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Last we knew, the Gun Snob and Mystic Guns were married, but apparently we may have just gotten a bit of a hint.
You saw it here first,
folks.
folks.
Changing.
Yeah, we're witnessing some real
breaking news. We don't normally do news, but yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, one thing that I'm really, kind of to answer that one last question too, that I'm really excited about is, I come from the interesting country of California, and the fact that I get to use the suppressor, that's the first thing I'm really excited about. Okay. So, we're out in Utah now and stuff. And so the fact that I get to have a rifle all day, every day with a suppressor, and I can have my handgun with a suppressor, that's the first thing I'm excited about. I know some of you have lived long with suppressors, but for me, it's new and I love it. And the other thing is, in my last business, I was big in the marketing aspect, and what you're seeing right there is one of our old style cans, and some of the newer cans and the designs that are coming out are, what I do like is the fact that they were able to integrate the culture into the can itself by adding tattoos. And so they've literally tatted up the cans, and they've put some little decals on it and stuff like that. And we do have abilities to kind of make these customizations and everything. So we do have some promotional stuff that's going to be coming out. And I just like the fact that we can make things very customizable, almost individual, where, you know, when you got big promotions and things like that, we can essentially play to what the market wants from us. And we're not just kind of sit into this one little niche and say, hey, this is what it is. This is what we have, love it or leave it. But the company itself is very open to feedback and to kind of what the market tells us and everything. And, you know, I was talking with an officer the other day about some of our stuff, and he was giving us some feedback about some things he would like to see on some of the aspects of the can, like on the tip where the caps are at and everything, which I really loved and enjoy that we might have to be able to put out. I just can't talk about right now. But the other thing that I love about is, you know, the limited lifetime warranty that we have, which is anything that happens to that baffle. Well, the good thing about it is you can send it in and we can replace it because the serial number is on the actual can itself. And the baffle structure, you know, it's manufactured 17.4 stainless steel monocore baffle. It's durable. It's tried and true. And if anything does happen to it, though, the limited lifetime warranty that we have is you can send that in. We'll replace the baffle structure itself, give you it back, and you don't have to go through all the paperwork. Because the outer can is what's serialized, and we're able to help you out through that. So the other thing too is we have programs for cleaning. So if you're going on a long trip that you aren't going to be hunting or using that can, you can turn it into us and we can do some cleaning for you and service it. So just the overall aspects that the direction the company has and that it's going to with some of the new features and the new SOPs that we have in place for our clients is what really kind of gets me excited, because I love service. I love the service aspect. We come from a servanthood type mentality. And so the ability to help our clients out and bring actual service to the client, because I feel like that's been a dead thing since 2020, that the service industry is no longer, you know, the ability to help our clients is what I'm really excited about.
Nice.
Along again, like I said, with having cans that I can put on my freaking guns now.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I'm afraid to ask this question, but I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't. You've emphasized how important the tattoos are. What tattoos did they either make you get or did you choose to get that are related to the company and the product?
Right.
So we are all in debate right now as far as the tattoos that we are going to have to get. Zach's already got a few randoms on his arms, but
yeah, I got a bunch of good patchwork.
He's the test sample.
Yeah, they'll probably run all the tests on me and see which ones look best, and then they'll make everyone else follow through.
I mean, that's what I would do. Just throw it out there.
Yeah. We'll start with the forehead, and then we'll work our way down.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm not saying you have to do this, but I could see really interesting offering tattoos in your booth at SHOT Show next year.
There you go. Diversity. I like that. Diversifying. That's
And now that I mention that, a couple years ago, someone offered tattoos at SHOT Show. Like you could go to their booth, and while you're getting the tattoo, they had you captive so they could talk about all their products. I can't remember who it was, but I remember thinking, there is no way anyone's actually going to do that. But I heard that several people did. Like they had a line at times, and I don't understand that. But I don't know. Maybe you can run with that. Come up with some. Use the designs off your cans, and maybe if they order enough of a certain kind of can, you give them that tattoo for free. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't want royalties off of this idea. And honestly, I may delete this part of the program. I don't want anyone to think I'm responsible for this.
We're going to get flooded with emails saying, hey, these are the tattoos we want for next year.
Yeah.
So I do have a meeting with our director of marketing tomorrow, so I'm going to have to bring it up in all honesty.
Yeah.
Hey, you might be able to convince me, Brian, to test out a couple designs. I'm just saying, if I don't have to pay for them,
that's what everybody's
tattoos. I don't mind it.
When you look at the tattoos, it's like, if I can get it for free.
Yeah, if I can get it for free, you can put just about anything on there. So
you heard it first, folks. Right there.
There you go. Yeah, start putting in the chat what we think you should give them.
Yep, there it is. There it is.
We're gonna put right on your back, future ex-husband.
That is going to be a spicy chat, I have a feeling, as people start doing that.
Yeah, here come the tattoo suggestions from the depths that we don't want to hear.
Yeah. What in the world? All right, I'm going to put it up there, even though it's against my better judgment. I don't know that you guys would want to subject yourselves to that, to be honest.
I mean, as long as they're okay with everybody walking by the booth and they're seeing that, we'll do it.
It's Snob. He's fine with that.
Yeah.
He's good.
Well, I feel for everyone else, though.
Yes, serious. No one wants to hear yourself. Oh, that's so good.
All right. Yeah. And after that, that side turn there, I'm not even sure where to go with the program now.
Well, one thing I can say is, for anybody that does, that's watching this or has questions, Zach and Kyle are the guys that you can reach out to. If you do send us a message on Instagram or through our website, we get it pretty much instantly. So on the website, it's going to ask you some questions like, what is it you'd like to know? It'll ask you for a phone number or an email. And then we get those pretty much immediately. So during kind of business hours and or late night hours, because us and our team, we really don't sleep. We just take naps. We'll reach out to you. We'll text you. We'll email you. Again, our biggest thing is, we look at the safety aspect of these suppressors, and just because we ourselves and our team have experienced some of this stuff. So we're really excited to get these in the hands of the right people that are going to do the right thing. And so if you reach out to us, we're on point as far as getting back to you as soon as humanly possible. If it's
Gotcha.
As long as it's within like 7 a.m. of any time in the state or country, to about, I don't know, Zach, what do you think? 11 o'clock ish, 10:30 p.m., 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I tend to check out around 10. That's my movie time when the little ones finally gone to sleep. So
there you go.
So just anytime outside of that, I'm going to be available, and I will text you if you send me a message. So that's what we're all about here, as Brian mentioned.
There you go. See
that?
Sure.
It's right there on the interwebs.
So let's turn.
Yeah. Zach. Send it to me, and I'll vet everything for you. Yeah. Not past 10 p.m. All right.
Right. You have to wait till the next day if it comes in. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Listen.
Rock bottom. Yeah, I think those snob comments were rock bottom for the history of this program. So, but we're going to follow that up with another one.
That's the one I said.
So we should send all unsavory pics asking for a friend. Yeah. I'm sorry. Let's just get that off of there. That was inappropriate snob. So let me ask some important questions of you guys now. If someone is watching this and says, you know what, I need one of those, or more than one, I don't want to limit them. It looks like they have the ability to add to cart. And so can someone complete a purchase on your website? Then they just have to designate the FFL SOT that they want it sent to for processing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So typically the way that's going to run is you'll be able to push through the purchase on the website, and then either Kyle or myself will reach out to you and just see who that dealer is that you're wanting to go through, and then from there it's really on us. We will follow up with the dealer, grab all the necessary stuff, and then we'll get that process put through and get that lovely ATF paperwork started.
Yeah. So I see you also have a dealer locator section. So are there stocking dealers if someone wants to look locally to see, where can I get one? Oh, wow. It even knows I'm in Charlotte, and it's got
it does. It knows it's tracking you, Jeff. Imagine that.
This is a little troubling.
Yep.
I mean, I've taken for granted that I'm on tons of watch lists, and people are tracking me anyway. But good show. All right, thank you, Jason.
Yeah, the other thing is too, so you can buy them directly through our website. We also recommend, if you're working with a dealer right now, go in and ask them to call us and stock up on our product. We have some amazing deals for the dealers, and they can really stock up on some of our cans and be able to give some good promotional stuff to their clients. But yeah, so if you can go directly to our website, and or if you're dealing with the dealer or somebody like that, we highly recommend always to go in and tell your dealers, hey, you need to get some AMTAC product in here as well. We have a couple of really big things that are going to be dropping in the next couple months with some big people that are kind of internet celebrities and everything that have been requested and asking for our stuff. So there'll be a lot of videos coming out. We do know that it's going to kind of kick up the dealers to be grabbing our stuff and everything, but 100%, we've got inventory, we've got capacity. We feel and we've seen that the e-form has helped with the time that it takes to get these things processed. And so we're pretty excited about that. So working through, like Zach was saying, if you order through us, we'll push through and get the dealer information, get the FFL SOT and all that info and get it out to the dealer for you.
Excellent. Let's see. I'm going to have to get you in touch with our official FFL SOT Quarter Horse Arms in Snow Camp, North Carolina, and see if Alan wants to take some stock on, and because I don't think he's had a number of different suppressor companies he's worked with. I don't recall him working with you guys, so I'll make that introduction, send him to you when I get back in town here shortly. Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys being here. At this point, I'm going to make last call for comments. So if anyone out there wants to has any questions they want to get answered, ask them now, or you're going to have to send emails and see how late Zach will answer them.
Yep.
So that's the best I can do for you folks.
That was part of the agreement.
9:59. Be like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, typically
too close.
Typically we ramble until we run out of things to talk about, but I got a hard stop tonight, so we got a few more minutes and then we're going to wrap it up. So I appreciate you guys being here. Definitely anything that we missed that people need to know about, then please oh, wait a second, what kind of foolishness was that? I think you put it up and I took it down, right, TJ?
Yeah.
I'm going to put it back up.
All right, put it back up.
Yeah, and see, that's where I was about to say a minute ago when you were talking about celebrities that were going to be, internet celebrities. I was like, TJ, when are you going to tell me you guys had something in the works?
Yeah, dude.
Jeff, you said, Jeff, you wanted to do a demo with these new cans, so I believe we were trying to
set something up. Yeah,
we got to make that happen, man.
We can do that. I've got TJ and I both have a number of firearms. Like, I'm a little worried that we have too many firearms coming. I am branching out, and
you're an American man.
You don't have enough space for all your
firearms. I don't believe I'm almost shocked he said that. Like, I am like,
TJ, okay, whoever made the comment that you are the only internet celebrity they trust, and you just said that, you can't have enough. Come on now, man. We got people in Congress saying bump those numbers up.
Yeah, you haven't seen my gun room, man. I'm going to have to build a new gun room.
Just put a vault door. Put a vault door at the top of the stairs, and you're good. The whole room can be a gun room.
There you go.
That's a good.
The whole
point.
reason for additions on homes is for gun rooms.
Yeah.
I'm a problem solver, Jeff. That's what I do.
All right. Well, if I can get my only trusted, handyman to come put that in for me, then we'll do that. But so far, I've not been able to get TJ to leave Florida to come do work for me.
It's because it's cold up there, dude. Screw that.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, you guys have anything else coming up?
We'll see.
Where are you guys going to be? Like, I think we're going to the to NRAM, to the NRA show. Are you guys going to be there?
I'm not sure if we're going to be there. We have a military event coming up that we're going to be at, and then we have CanCon. We're going to be at CanCon, and there's another one.
Fest?
Yeah, Suppress Fest is the other one.
That's what it is. Yeah.
I'll be at Suppress Fest. I know that because that's right across the state from me.
Perfect. And then we'll be in Texas end of March, beginning of April. There's going to be a big shoot day out there. And gosh, I think there was a hunting expo that's coming up, but we'll definitely find out. We'll send you all the info where we're going to be at.
Well, we know Suppress Fest. I'm sure we'll see each other at industry events, but I was trying to get the word out there for any of the civilians, the non-industry people that want to get a hold of you guys
Yeah, well, CanCon. I mean, CanCon's public, so they can. I mean, they can buy tickets at CanCon, and then Suppress Fest is the same as well. So
We also have a local one in Utah called Shootah, and that one's coming up as well. That we're going to be there.
shoot,
We got a little creative on that Shootah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Wonder where it's at.
yeah, California.
Oh no, they don't know. Come on.
Yeah, it'll never happen. Looks like Jeff's internet froze up on him, man.
I know.
He's real good game.
Jeff locked up.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, you don't even hear him either.
See, that's what happens is the internet's going to shut you down if you ever say, I think I have too many guns.
It did. He deserves that. Oh shit, here he is. Hey, buddy.
I probably did. I don't know what you're talking about. I heard he deserves it. You're probably right, whatever it was. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so anything else you guys want to mention before we wrap things up?
I would just say reach out, hit us up. We're more than happy to answer any other questions that anybody might have that we weren't able to answer here. We are available for that to give you a little bit more education on the product, on the rebrand, on what we do, how we do it, and how fast we can get it in your hands. But definitely don't hesitate to reach out. Reach out to Zach. Reach out to us on our Instagram. I kind of oversee the Instagram along with Zach and Kyle. So we're on there answering as many questions as we can as fast as possible as well. So give us a follow, give us a like, and look out. Do the little bell notification because we do have a couple of those competition things that are going to come up where we're going to be giving away some cool patches and shirts and hats and all that stuff. So put the notification on and be on the lookout for a lot of that stuff. But we're here to help, here to serve, and anything we can do to help you out.
Oh, crap. Ghost Tactical is here. He just showed up. We're going to have to start over.
Okay, sounds good.
Actually, we're not. But thank you for Ghost Tactical. Speaking as you speak of internet celebrities, and he shows up. So there you go.
Heard us talking about him.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, with that, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So I'm going to brief you guys on this. I made the mistake of just diving into it once.
Yep.
And the brand guest that was on was actually from Maxim Defense, the sponsor of this program for 2 years now. They just renewed as our sponsor. And their representative was on. And we get to the end of the show and said, okay, here's what we do. I'm going to point at the camera and say, until next time, we'll see you at the range. And you hold your finger there up by the camera until we get it all and broadcast and everything cuts us off. That's just how we do it. It's cheesy. That's what we do. I said, all right, here we go. And
finger? Which finger? Does it matter?
You pick.
Dealer's choice.
Okay. Whatever you're comfortable with. But here's the deal. I said that, and I was very directive in what I said, right? And the dude just sits back and goes, I'm not doing that. I'm like, hey, okay, you do what makes you happy. You want to point, you don't, that's fine too. Get creative if you want. It's all up to you, okay? But for now, until next time, we'll see you at the range.